sketch the function f of x is 1 over x squared plus 4. Now, what we need to find is the vertical asymptote and the horizontal asymptote for a rational function. Horizontal asymptotes are given in terms of y. Now, as long as the denominator is, the power in the denominator is bigger than the power in the numerator, then this function is always going to have the horizontal asymptote being y is equal to 0. We can see that the highest power of x down is bigger than the highest power of x on top. Now for this one, how do you find vertical asymptote? You equate the denominator to 0. Now if I equate the denominator to 0 here, I'm going to find that x is equal to square root of negative 4. Alright, so we're going to have x squared. I'm going to say plus 4 being equal to 0, and that will give us x squared being equal to negative 4. X is going to give us the square root of negative 4, positive or negative of course, and that will give us positive or negative 2i. So this is not a real number, meaning that we don't have any vertical asymptote for this function. So then let's go on and sketch it. So we have got x values there, and then we have got y values there. How do you get to sketch this one? Now you notice that the smallest value that we can have in the denominator is when x is equal to 0. Right? When x is equal to 0, we are going to find not the smallest value in the denominator, but the biggest value. Okay, I was right to say the smallest value because unless I'm talking about the whole fraction. So let's say when x is equal to 0, what are we going to find as y? So y is going to be able to give us 4. I'm only considering the denominator, not the whole fraction. So what happens when I increase or reduce the value of x? Let me say I get x being equal to either positive 1 or negative 1. Negative 1 or positive 1 squared is 1 plus 4. That will give me what? A 5. So y is going to give us a 5. Alright. If I go to 2, either positive or negative, what will be the value for y? Negative 2 or positive 2 squared is a 4 plus 4. That is going to give us 8. So we see I only have a smallest y value if x is equal to 0. If I reduce the values of x or increase the values of x, the denominator is going to be increasing. Now if I increase the denominator, what happens to the fraction is I am reducing the fraction, because 1 over 4 is bigger than 1 over 5, and 1 over 5 is bigger than 1 over 8. So as long as I move from x is equal to 0, the function is going to be reducing. Right? Now we've already determined that y is equal to 0, which is the x-axis, is an asymptote. And the biggest value we can have is when x is 0, and that is going to give us 1 over 4. Remember I said when x is equal to 0, we are going to have a 0 here, then we're going to have 1 over 4. So this is 1 over 4. This is the biggest value we can have. If I go towards positive values of x, the function will start reducing. If I go towards the negative values of x, the function will also start reducing. So it is going to be going like this. We will not touch the x-axis because it is an asymptote. And then as we get to go like this, the function also be dropping. We will not also touch the x-axis because that's an asymptote. So the domain of this function is all values of x, or I can say from negative infinity to positive infinity. But the range of this function, the smallest value of x we can have, value of y, that's the range. The smallest we can have is 0. The biggest y value we can have is 1 over 4. And 1 over 4 is being included, but 0 is not being included because it's asymptote. So this is going to be the sketch of this graph.